A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the AM Med Talk. Once again, we connect with all of you on a Sunday morning at 11 a.m. I already have the guest joining me today live, so I'm quickly going to add her in first. Of course, she has been very active with us ever since we came to India 5 years ago. Hello, Dr. Shafali. I have received your invite and I have accepted it. Also, I have sent you an invite if you could just accept that. So, yes, so Dr. Shafali has been an eminent speaker at our conferences all through the year. Hello, Dr. Shafali. Good morning.
Hi, Shell. How are you? Good
I am
morning.
doing great. How are you doing?
All good.
It feels great now. Every Sunday, I connect with some of the other doctor through the AM Med Talk, and I feel very active and charged up every Sunday morning.
I know. It's fun to have a discussion and, to rack the brains on a Sunday morning.
Yes, yes, yes. Of course, that too after we end the week on a hectic note in most of the cases. But yes, for everybody watching us today, Dr. Shafali has joined me to discuss vampire facials. I think very interesting term, but scientifically there is a lot that we would be discussing about this. And Dr. Shafali Traci Narurkar, she is an MD dermatology consultant dermatologist at Dr. Traci Clinic and Lapil Skin Clinic. And of course, today we'll go into all the details of mastering vampire facials. I, as every Sunday, have come with my set of questions for her that would help all of you watching this live. But if you have any questions for her, please use the comments and add your questions in, and we could definitely have them discussed. But like I was mentioning, Dr. Shefali is based in Mumbai. She has supported aesthetic medicine ever since we came to India 5 years ago. She has been featured in the magazine with a lot of her great case studies, with patients, her success stories, a lot of insights on the recent trends in aesthetic treatments. She has been a very active speaker at our conferences. And once again, it's only a pleasure for me to have her join me on this live today. So thank you so much for your time, Dr. Shefali.
Thank you, Shell. It's always fun to be associated with aesthetic medicine. We get to know a lot, learn a lot, first-hand experiences of new technologies that come in India and abroad. So it's fun to be on this platform always.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, okay, let's dive straight into our topic of discussion today. To begin with, if you could define in one sentence for everybody watching this live, that what is a vampire facial?
Okay, so basically, vampire means blood. Okay, we associated vampire with a blood. So if I want to say vampire facial, it will be something as a regenerative medicine using the patient's own blood. So that's basically a vampire facial. Now, vampire is a very vague term and it's being used by many centers vaguely. However, what it basically involves is here I am using the healing properties of my blood into healing my own skin. Now, that can be, for a hair regrowth, that can be for treatment of acne scars, for a good face rejuvenation, for treatment of fine lines and wrinkles. So it involves a lot of things. But if I say it in one sentence, it will be using patient's one's own blood to regenerate the skin for aesthetic purposes or for hair regrowth.
Okay. So, what would the key differences be between, the traditional microneedling procedure and a vampire facial? As in, how does the addition of PRP, platelet-rich plasma, enhance the results over here?
So microneedling, the age-old procedure would include just using of, the small derma roller instruments, which would be just, brushed upon the skin, creating channels on the skin so that there would be collagen remodeling and the scars would improve or the skin texture would improve. Now, what has happened is when we say as a vampire PRP treatment, what happens is when you do micro needling and then you apply the PRP solution on top of it, or you inject the PRP solution along with micro needling or standalone, what happens is I am introducing the growth factors of PRP into the skin to repair the skin, to cause that collagen remodeling, to cause that hair regrowth. So I am basically forcing the skin, one's own skin, to improve to its best.
Right. You can hear me, doctor?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
I think I thought my screen just froze for a second. Okay. Also, at the cellular level to rejuvenate the skin, how does PRP work? If you can just elaborate a little
Yeah,
over
so
there as well.
here I'll be a little more scientific. So when I'm thinking of PRP for, face rejuvenation, what does it involve? It's not that I'm injecting patient's own blood. So I've seen a lot of photos wherein, there is this model who's applied blood on her face and it is labeled as a vampire facial. Well, that is actually not the case. In PRP, what we do is we in fact remove all the red blood cells and the WBCs, and we only take the platelets which are rich in these growth factors, and we activate those platelets to release those growth factors. Now, when these growth factors are released into the skin, now they work on the skin. Now, how will they work? If it is a PRP solution, there are many growth factors. To name a few, will be transforming growth factor, vascular endothelial growth factor, platelet derived growth factor, fibroblast growth factor, epidermal growth factor. So all these scientific terms basically that are put forward, they work on the skin in various ways. Now, what are those ways in which they will work? Is first is it will decrease the melanin synthesis. That means less pigmentation, more glow on the skin. Second is it will help in collagen remodeling. So more collagen will be formed, more tighter will be your skin, more bouncy your skin will be. Third, it will help in increase in blood circulation, हम लोग neovascularization जिसको बोलते हैं. So
Hmm.
new blood vessels are formed. So more blood supply, better vascularity, better nutrition to that particular part of the skin. So these are the various ways in which these growth factors work on the skin and help to rejuvenate the skin.
You also mentioned that not vampire facial, but the whole process of PRP is applicable to the hair as well. It has been used for hair growth as well. Okay, so what is that procedure called? Is it just called PRP for hair loss or
So
hair gain?
P So PRP is a very general term. PRP basically
Okay.
means is to take out platelets from the plasma, from the entire blood, and so platelet-rich plasma from the entire blood
Hmm.
and injecting back into the scalp. So that exactly is what is PRP. Now, when I say for hair regrowth, the way I said in aesthetics, it helps by giving out various growth factors. Similarly, in hair also gives many growth factors which help in hair regrowth. So it gives it nutrition, it gives it new blood vessels, more nutrition. Forces the hair follicles to start, multiplying and growing more. So that way, the hair regrowth can also be seen with the help of PRP. So it is a very vague term, but basically, when I'm saying a vampire facial, or when I'm saying a PRP session, or when I'm saying a GFC session, what I'm doing is I'm taking out patient's blood, taking out growth factors from it, and injecting it back into the patient's skin or hair.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Coming back to the vampire facial side of our discussion, that what factors do you consider when you determine if a patient is, a good candidate for vampire facials? And also, are there any specific skin types or conditions that cannot go in for vampire facials?
So let me first say what can be done. So
Hmm.
if anybody asks me who can do a vampire facial, is I always tell anybody beyond 18 years can do a vampire facial. Means it's
Oh,
such a
nice.
simple treatment that here, and it can't get more. I tell my patients it can't get more organic than this.
No.
I'm using your blood. There are no artificial things that I'm introducing into the skin. So I'm using your blood. I'm processing it to release those required cells that I want, the growth factors that I want, and I'm injecting back into the skin. So if I say who can do it, anybody can do it. Because in this hectic lifestyle that we are leading, even at the age of 20, I will see a beautiful dark circle around my eyes and dullness on the skin because of the regular commute and the pollution that we are having
It's
around
the
us,
lifestyle.
the constant bad lifestyle that we are all living. So skin gets more dull. There are a lot of release of these free radicals which need to be taken care of. And this, if I'm doing a vampire treatment, then it's one of the best ways to control that damage that I'm causing to the skin. However,
Hmm.
to place it more a little more scientific, I would say any patient who's looking for a good face rejuvenation, so dullness of the skin, you know, patient comes and tells me, Doc, I'm looking very tired, then definitely a vampire facial is for you. Second, anybody who has a lot of acne scars on their face, then vampire is
Hmm.
for you. Open pores. Anyone with fine lines and wrinkles doesn't want to directly dwell into doing Botox treatments, because Botox is very.
I, I have lost your sound. No, can't hear you. No, no, can't hear you. Uh, no, I cannot hear you now. The sound has gone completely mute. Cannot hear you at all. It's completely mute. Try if you've put your headphones in the case, try getting them out and using them again. No, we have lost your voice completely. Uh, Either just disconnect your headphones from your handset. Maybe they're still connected, but the headphone has gone off. No, doctor, cannot hear you. Not at all. Is anyone watching the live? Are you all able to hear Dr. Shafali? If you all can just let me know in the comments. Because I am unable to hear her. No, doctor. You can hear me. Okay. I can't hear you at all. I'm going by your lip sync. Okay, even the viewers watching us cannot hear. Thank you, Prashant, for letting us know. Thank you, Dr. Priya, for letting us know. Dr. Shafali, do you want to leave the live and join back again? Yes, yes, do that. Yes, we are waiting. Yes, so everybody on the live with me, please continue to stay with us. And we have Dr. Shafali joining us back. We were having a very, very interesting discussion on uh, vampire facials, and Dr. Shafali with her. Oh, no, doctor, I can't hear you at all. No idea how we could lose your sound. Okay, on your Instagram screen, you would also have a mute button. Is that on mute by any chance? That's unmute. Can you put your Bluetooth off on your phone? My, my team, if you all are watching this live, is there any way you all can help? We are unable to hear Dr. Shafali. Uh, uh, no, doctor, we cannot hear you. The sound has completely gone. I don't know. We were speaking and we have lost your sound. You've put your Bluetooth off on your phone? Completely off. Okay. Uh, okay, leave the live completely and go out of Instagram also and just rejoin. And I'll just have my team also to connect with you once if, yeah, I've just asked them to connect with you as well. Till then, I would, yes. So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. This often happens when we are trying to do something with the help of electronic media or the internet. We were having a great live conversation with Dr. Shefali Trasi, very interesting one on vampire facials, where we were going into the details of PRP, the process, how it helps in rejuvenating the skin. There was a sound issue while she was speaking, because of which I have asked her to leave the live and rejoin us. So let us just try that. And Dr. Shafali, I have sent you the invite again. So hopefully we should be able to hear her again because,
Hi.
yes, welcome
Finally.
back.
Okay, so
Yeah, great.
I've lost the link as to what I was saying.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were talking about when do we determine
oh
if a
yes,
patient is
yes,
the
yes.
right candidate
So
for
I was
vampire.
saying, yeah. So I was saying that anybody with acne scars, with open pores, with fine lines and wrinkles who do not wish to go for a Botox treatment, so those people can definitely go for a PRP treatment or for a vampire facial. Then anybody who's just looking for a simple treatment for the dullness of the skin, they are just feeling tan, dehydrated skin, can go ahead with a vampire facial. So that's how anybody and everyone who wants to have a nice, radiant, glowing skin can go ahead with a vampire facial.
But
And the second,
under any given, coming to the second question, that could there be a situation where you would not recommend a vampire facial for a candidate?
so yes, so vampire facial is where I'm using your own blood, right? So in case there is any infection in the blood, I wouldn't want to use it. So any patient
Mm.
with active infections, bacterial infections, such as impetigo, furuncle folliculitis, cannot undergo a vampire facial at that point of time. You can take antibiotics, get it treated, then come back. Anyone with an active acne, those
Hmm.
patients, I would tell them, wait, let the acne go down, and then you can go ahead with a vampire facial. So there are times when patients do come to me and tell me, Doc, I want to go ahead with a vampire facial, but I tell them, darling, wait, let the infection of your acne go down, and when it is inactive, when it is non-infective, probably at that time you can do a vampire facial. Um, then any patient with an active viral infection,
Hmm.
so herpes
Hmm.
patients, they cannot undergo a vampire facial. In case of very active subacute eczema, very
Hmm.
active flares up of atopic eczema, I will not want to, do a vampire facial, because at that time I'm more interested in treating the condition rather than, making them glow.
Yes.
So those are the
Yes.
conditions I generally tell my patients that please let's, wait for those facials. And then once that is treated, once the active phase of that, infection or the eczema is treated, I definitely go ahead with it.
Sure, sure. Okay. So then, when we talk about ensuring a safe and effective administration of PRP during the vampire facial, any critical steps that you follow to ensure that?
So yeah, here I would want to put forward a lot of things, because a few months back I read one article in a particular. In fact, it was on social media, wherein the PRP solution was not properly used, and a lot of problems have cropped up from it. So here I would like to tell all my listeners that though it is a very nice procedure, though it is a very safe procedure, it has to be done under pure sterile conditions. Here
Hmm.
we are dealing with blood, and many a times it may happen that you might get two patients or three patients wanting to do a vampire facial at one time. So you cannot use one's blood for someone else. So when you're collecting blood, it's a compulsory thing in my own clinic, and I'm sure in many other doctors' clinic is when you collect the blood in a particular vacutainer or in a particular PRP tube, what we say, you first label the patient's name. Make sure even when you're collecting blood, it is done under complete sterile conditions. You should not do it, in a dusty environment. It has to be a very sterile environment. You clean the patient well with alcohol swabs. You collect the blood well in proper sterile vacutainers, which are meant for PRP and GFCs. Then you label the tube properly, and then even before injecting, you make sure that you have used the same vacutainer, the same PRP tube for that patient. These steps also before microneedling, before injecting, before using that vampire facial on that patient's face, be extremely sure to clean the face very well with alcohol, with betadine. So maintain all sterile conditions at all times. Many a times in the earlier days, when PRP was just new in the market, and even now, at many centers, PRP is literally done in a OT setting
Hmm.
because of
Hmm.
that, sterile conditions that we need.
Right.
So
Right.
that is one thing. If you maintain it well, then there are literally zero chances of any side effects. And second is you should know the plane in which you are injecting. You should know
Hmm.
areas where you should not inject. So it is again, PRP happens to be a concentrated plasma. You just can't inject it anywhere and everywhere that your mind wishes to. You need to know your no-go zones. You need to know your safety zones. So all those things are extremely important when you are dealing with a PRP solution.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of this is applicable to many such treatments which involve injectables, drawing of blood, and everything. So definitely a great advice and what do you say, like a caution word to keep everyone in the know of how they need to proceed. Any chances of, any kind of pain or discomfort during this procedure, and how do you manage that? If you could just tell us about that. Also, what do you recommend as a post-procedure care to ensure that, the healing happens in the right way and the results are optimal?
So what generally happens is when I'm as a doctor, when I'm wanting to do a vampire facial, I do say that for me facial is like a misnomer. I would rather use that precious golden blood, the serum that I get. It's a nice golden serum. I asked them if I could inject them in the skin, at the desired locations. It's because it has beautiful results. It has the desired results when I'm injecting them rather than microneedling them. So that is
Hmm.
I tell my patients, because after collection of blood, the patient has to wait for some time till the time I centrifuge it and make it ready for injection of a microneedling. So I get good 20-25 half minutes to half an hour. So at that time we apply topical anesthetic cream, make the patient sit for that half an hour to 40 minutes, and then start injecting. That way there is good amount of numbness on the face. Even if I'm injecting in the patient's skin, patient is quite comfortable, and there are no problems. So it's very well taken care of if I'm applying a good numbing cream. However,
Okay.
to make it more simplified, I have seen that in case PRP can be a little cellular, so it may contain a few cells of WBCs and RBCs. At that time, GFC, that is growth factor concentrate, becomes completely acellular, and that's how
Hmm.
the pain and the inflammation goes down. So I would prefer injecting a GFC in the skin rather than a PRP in the skin. For the precise factor is it is less painful, more concentration of the growth factors, better results on the patient. So
Hmm.
that is one thing while doing it. So pain is definitely not there. However, if I am going to be injecting it all over my skin, finally at the end of the day it's just a skin. There is a
Yes.
chance that I may bruise the skin.
I was going to ask you that. Yes.
At
Chances
one,
of.
two places, I may bruise it. It's generally subdermal, deep dermal. So generally, we do not see so much of bruising. And when you are doing the procedure, you stretch the skin well. You see it properly under light. So if you see any blood vessels, try to avoid injection over there, and inject it properly. If I'm injecting all around the face, I may inject around 50, 60 pricks. I may give it to the patient, but I may not bruise them at all, or I bruise them, at typical 1, 2 places. But that's acceptable to the patient also. So
Right.
generally, after PRP, we generally tell them, there can be a downtime of 3, 4 days, wherein if there is a bruise. Also, the pricks are done with needles which are so fine that, hardly after, even if you see the patient after 3 hours, you can't even make out that the patient has done something.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in case I'm using my PRP, so if I'm doing a vampire facial with micro needling, then probably those micro needling will have much more downtime than my actual PRP, because micro
Correct.
needling gives back those thrusts, no? So
Yes.
that will
Yes.
have more downtime rather than my PRP. So post care, generally we tell our patients if there is a bruise, then we give them arnica creams, arnica tablets. If post laser creams, that healing creams that we give to our patients, those
Hmm.
creams we give it to our patient for 3, 4 days. We tell them avoid going out too much in sun, any strenuous
Ah, yeah.
activity for 3 to 4 days. Then we also tell them to avoid makeup. So generally,
Huh.
a good antibiotic cream, sunscreen is what we recommend to our patients. Try to avoid any makeup, because makeup, if they apply foundation or concealer, it will start clogging those, pricks that I have done. So that can
Hmm.
be later on a problem. So
Hmm.
that is something to be avoided. So strenuous activity, going out too much in sun, taking hot saunas, makeup, these are the things we generally tell them to avoid after a PRP session or a vampire facial.
Right. Right. Now, if we speak about patient expectations, a lot of times we see, be it, the vampire facial or several other treatments, the patients have a certain expectation that, oh, I want a result as soon as this period. But the treatment would have its own period during which you would see the result and, its impact on your skin. So how many sessions are usually needed to see significant improvements after using vampire facial, and does this meet your patient expectations?
So generally, if I'm doing a vampire facial for therapeutic conditions like acne scars and pigmentation, then I
Hmm.
would tell my patient that I need about 4 to 6 sittings, along with my other routine creams and tablets and all those things, all the jing bang that comes with it.
Hmm.
However, if I'm doing it for a simple face rejuvenation, then doing a session once in 3 months or 4 months is more than enough.
Okay. Okay.
It's just because, see, it's a very slow process. It is going to take 3 weeks to show that action of a good glow on the skin.
Yeah.
So by the time we do the procedure and the patient sees the results, it's already about 2, 3 weeks down. And then the effect lasts for good 3, 4 months. So though I tell my patients you repeat it after 3, 4 months or as required, there are at times patients tell me that dog, the glow has stayed for 6 months also. So in
Uh,
when it comes to face rejuvenation, I do not tell them. I tell them when you feel the need, or as a a general guideline, I will tell them probably do it once in 3 months or once in 4 months. But apart from that, if I'm doing it for therapeutic conditions like acne scars, pigmentation, for fine lines and wrinkles, what I generally tell them is to do it every month for 4 to 6 sittings, see the results, and then depending upon the results that we have got. So after 6 sittings, I'll call the patient back after 1, 2 months, see what the final result is, and then decide the further treatment.
hmm. Hmm. Okay. Are there any warning signs, which could be complications or any kind of side effects that a dermatologist or a aesthetic medicine practitioner should be aware of during the procedure?
So yeah, PRP can't be done to anyone and everyone. And ideally, if I'm doing a PRP, then I should get the blood status of the patient. So it is extremely essential that though it's not a very common habit to be done, it cannot be done in immunocompromised patients, with HIV and all those things, all those infections. So
Yeah.
avoid, because handling of the blood for the operator also becomes a risk.
Hmm.
So it should not be done. Anybody having any platelet disorders, they are not allowed to do this procedure. Okay.
Hmm.
So those
Hmm.
are the patients I would completely say a no-no when it comes to doing a PRP. And apart from that, whatever we said, the active infections, the viral and the
We've
bacterial,
covered
those are
all
the
of that.
ones, yeah, you should be aware of. In cases of patients with very high sugar levels, I would want, diabetic patients with very high sugar levels, they should get the sugars under control, because here, you would want the healing also will be very slow in such patients.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
so those
Hmm.
are the patients I would want to wait and rather do some milder treatments than some pricking treatments, or probably use vampire facial as a proper medifacial, So we didn't get over there, but there are times when patients, if they have refused, from wanting to do an injectable or a micro needling treatment, what we have done is we include the same solution. See, it's a golden solution. It's like an amrit. So why do I want to waste it? I would water, if there are, what I do is we can use it as a mesoporation with the help of mesoporation devices. These are just massaging devices. I try to penetrate. There is no pricking, there is no pins and needles. So in these patients, what I'll do is I'll probably, take one mesoporation. I'll apply the solution on the face, and then with the help of a electroporation or a mesoporation machine, I penetrate inside the skin. So then
Hmm.
I have, so if I can't inject, there are various ways in which I will want to penetrate that solution inside the skin and give the desired results to my patients.
Right. Right. I was going to ask you that have you found success in combining vampire facials with other cosmetic
Oh,
treatments?
I have combined it with a lot of things. Means, especially in COVID times, that was the time, we could do a lot of things. Patients
Yeah.
were ready, to have the downtime. They were also excited, to try something new. So I have combined it with a lot of treatments, maintaining complete sterility in the treatments. So I have combined it with my lasers. I've combined it with my microneedling devices. I have used it in medifacials.
Oh,
So then
okay.
I have, yeah, so I have combined it with my subcisions that we do for acne scars. Subcision is a procedure in which, with the help of a needle or a cannula, we break open the bands inside the skin.
Hmm.
I have combined it with subcision procedures. Then I have used the vampire facial for pigmentation. Bad facial melanosis caused because of lichen planus pigmentosis. Wherein we literally put our hands up as doctors that I will treat your lichen planus, but I can't take care of the pigmentation. Therein, I tried to do the vampire facials. I injected in my patients, giving them a beautiful result. Means the patients were shocked to see, they had been suffering from pigmentation on the face, where the entire face had become grayish in color. I have, been successful in reducing that grayish pigmentation on the face. So, experimented a lot with it. Used it on the lips to give that hydration, to decrease that, fine lines and wrinkles. Used it, very intradermal below the eyes to give that eye rejuvenation. So I've done a lot with PRP. I've experimented a lot with PRP in a very successful way, knowing where not to do. So, and maintaining completely sterile conditions. So that way, I can tell you that it's actually a beautiful treatment, and one should start using it in their own practices. And and there's a lot more to explore in this. And now with autologous exosomes which are coming up in the market, so you are preparing
Yes.
your own exosomes from your own blood. So that
Yes.
is something that I'm looking forward to, because this I don't know, vampire is something which really excites me as a doctor.
Actually, I can sense it even when you are speaking. I was coming to that, and I think there was a reason why I also wanted to discuss this topic with you live, because I think this is the first time you and I are discussing vampire facials. So, but I have heard you talk about it, write about it in various other platforms. And I was like, yes, there is a lot of experience and a lot of creativity that Dr. Shefali brings along with herself when we talk about vampire facials. And I really wanted you to be able to share that through the Aesthetic Medicine India platform as well. Having said that, I think I have exhausted all my questions and I have tried to get each and every bit of about vampire facials from you. So, thank you so much, Dr. Shefali, for your time. It has been a great live session. For all the doctors, all the aesthetic medicine practitioners watching us, if you all have been doing vampire facials or not yet done it, have some more questions, found this live interesting, let us know in the comments, Dr. Shefali, and I would love to know. The live is going to be saved. It's going to be available on the Aesthetic Medicine India page. It's also going to be available on Dr. Shefali's clinic and her Instagram handles. So you all can watch it anywhere on Instagram right now between, both our pages. Continue to follow us because I'm sure Dr. Shefali is very active on her social media also, where she talks about a lot of treatments that she does. And at Aesthetic Medicine India, I will continue to bring to you more doctors with more topics, and we would discuss them every Sunday as part of AM Med Talk at 11 a.m. So, having said that, Dr. Shefali, once again, thank you so much, and it was an absolute pleasure having you and hearing from you about vampire facials.
Thank you, Shreyal, and thank you, Aesthetic Medicine. It's been fun Sunday for me. Good Sunday morning. You
Yes,
know,
yes. Great
talking
start.
about talking about a topic which I really love to do and explore. So it was fun.
My Sundays are aesthetically enhanced nowadays because I wake up to a new topic that I discuss with a doctor, and I think it just gives me some good fruit for thought, and I hope it's giving everyone who's watching us as well.
It kicks off our mind for the next week.
Yes, yes, yes. Totally kicked with a new mission. But yes, okay, Dr. Shafali, I will see you soon. And thank you so much. Have a great weekend and stay safe and enjoy your treatments.
Bye.
Bye. Good day. Bye. Bye.